And oh, by the way, if you get overrun, somebody grabs it, then they want to exploit it. They're gonna get nothing. They're gonna get a brick because this thing's been designed to be lost in the battlefield. You see all these people that are advertising that they've created this, black phone.
Yeah.
Ultimately, when you connect to a public network, how do you give that capability to the military? Well, you have to make it resilient and secure. I can tell you it's been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It challenged me in so many ways that my military career never prepared me for. So
yeah.
I'm sure you've had similar things in your
I'm
post-military
a podcast.
career.
You're developing an entire 5G network, but I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how much of an investment are you guys needing?
So we're currently raising $10 million, and that's really going to be to ramp up growth of the company.
So when we're talking about these protected networks that by the end of the year I'll be able to put on my roof, I mean, is that exactly how protected am I? Is that they can't tell my location, they don't have my advertising ID, all the stuff we talked about with
for
TikTok?
instance, so let's just go back to what I was telling you about SDK data. If you basically log into Google and Facebook and all your accounts, and you're allowing that data to go to them, then yeah, you're gonna give away your stuff. Mm-hmm. But the other way that they can track you is through your IMSI, through identifying your mobile device through the network. So that's another way to basically track you, is understanding your IMSI. So now you control that in a sense. So it's going to be a lot harder for them to find that.
Okay. Wow, that is a lot cooler than. I mean, that's amazing. One of the most innovative things I've heard of lately.
You see all these people that are advertising that they've created this, black phone.
Yeah.
Ultimately, when you connect to a public network, it's very hard to then maintain anonymity when somebody else owns the network. It's a lot easier if you own the network. So obviously, federal government understands that. But I think the average person, the idea that you could own a piece of the infrastructure has never really been something that was possible prior to 5G. Again, software. So, it really transformed the way that we can deploy these networks and make them available to people. One of the problems today in providing other types of capabilities, automation, robotics, is really because we lack the ability to run those things in a local location. There's no infrastructure to support that, and by themselves, a single application does not make that infrastructure a worthwhile investment. In other words, if I'm just going to run this algorithm that runs on cameras that you've put on your property, for example, it doesn't. The service is not going to pay for that infrastructure. It's not going to be enough. But if you have the infrastructure, now I can start to layer these services on top of it. And that's really our business. It's really about providing that infrastructure to support all of these applications and use cases in a secure way so that they can actually be brought to market.
Wow, very interesting. I can't wait to see this roll out. When are whatever carriers you are working with, when are they going to adopt this type of technology?
So, I mean, it's already been approved by one, and now we're working on how do we price this, right? From their side, like we already know, but they have to figure out like what is this is not something the carriers do, right? What I'm explaining is not something that they would normally do, and the attractiveness for them obviously is the government customer, because the government needs. So I mean, when you think about it, what are we doing? We're bringing the smartphone into the government customers so that they can take advantage of the economies of scale for the chipsets that run those things. They're already hardened. You can drop in water. You can throw them around. You can zap them with the EMP. They take a beating and keep on going, and start to get the military away from having to use these bespoke technologies they don't like, and they aren't easy to use. They're hard to program. They don't talk to each other. That's the worst problem. And so we wanted to give that capability. How do you give that capability to the military? Well, you have to make it resilient and secure. That's the bottom line. And then they can start. Now you can go down to Best Buy, plug in your eSIM, and now you've got a secure connection with other technologies that get brought in. So other partners, for instance, allow us to do classified communications on this capability. It's not something we do, but our partners allow you to do that. And now all of a sudden you create this capability that you can take on the battlefield, and you can bring your infrastructure with you. And that's really what the small backpackable one is. Put it in aircraft, put it in ship, put it on a vehicle, put it in your backpack, and now you can take your cell network and data center with you so that you can be completely independent from anything that's going on, and it's resilient and secure as you need. And oh, by the way, if you get overrun, somebody grabs it, then they want to exploit it, they're gonna get nothing. They're going to get a brick because this thing's been designed to be lost in the battlefield.
Wow. Man, that's and then there's a lot of fear about an EMP attack, power grid going down. I'd like to get into that with you here in a minute with what China's doing to our power grid supposedly. But I would think all the carriers would, and the government would want to subsidize this somehow. And it's an EMP proof network.
Right. I think there's a lot of misconceptions. Number one, the first one that we heard was, why don't I buy this? The cell phone won't survive. No, the smartphones actually survive quite well. At least every single one that we got out of Best Buy and tested survived. So that's not it really is about the size. It's really about the shielding that's already designed into them. So that's not an argument. The other argument is, my God, this is going to cost millions and millions of dollars. No, it's not. In fact, we just had a meeting with one government representative, and they almost came out of their chair when we told them how much it was going to cost, because they're told that, it's like the old adage of the gold-plated toilet seat. This thing's going to be, lots and lots of money. No, it's not. It's really, and we've designed it to be commercial infrastructure so anybody can buy it. And we feel strongly, this company, this Semper, believes in the Constitution. It believes in our republic. It believes the principles and values of, our independent citizenry. And it believes in the need for communications as a life-saving key component of a functioning society. And so, we're on a mission, and I think it does shock people a little bit and the implications are. And so our hardest problem, I would say, as a company, is people just not believing that we've done it, that we've built this thing. And then they see it and they're like, oh.
Wow. That's, I'm intrigued. Let's take a quick break. No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.